Hello and welcome to the big picture. The much talked about brainstorming session of the Congress party at Jaipur has ended on a high note with the formal elevation of Rahul Gandhi as the vice president and number 2. The Chintan Shivir, as it was dubbed, also discussed the many challenges being faced by the party as well as the country. However, all the discussions were overshadowed by Rahul Gandhi's elevation and more so his passionate speech, something which he was not known for all these days. With Rahul Gandhi now the official number 2, he now will have to take responsibility for all the acts of commission and omission of the party. What does his formal role as number 2 mean for the party? Has the party done the right thing by his elevation? Moreover, what does it mean to the UPA government and what would be the kind of relationship between the party and the government in the new scheme of things? Does this elevation automatically mean that he is the prime ministerial candidate? Has the Jaipur session clarified the other governance, social and economic issues faced by the party and its government? We will discuss all this today with my experienced panel of guests, Professor C.P. Bhambhri, a distinguished academic and columnist, Mohan Guruswamy, economist and distinguished fellow at the Observer Research Foundation, Professor Aditya Mukherjee, well-known historian from the Center for Historical Studies, JNU, and Venkitesh Ramakrishnan, associate editor of the Frontline magazine, who was present at all the 3 days at the Jaipur session. Welcome to all of you. Professor Bhambhri, we were talking, we had a very brief time on Friday when the session had just begun. Now after 3 days and after you've seen all that has happened there, do you think the Congress has addressed all the issues which it was facing?
Formally and theoretically, yes, but in politics, it's not a question of statements or declarations.
Right.
It's a question of keeping in mind the past record and performance of the party, keeping in mind the present arrangements and future strategies which they evolved. One has to ask many critical questions to really put the whole thing in a proper perspective.
Right.
First and foremost is that Rahul Gandhi was fully protected by the party, even by the very senior leaders. Whenever it was assumed that he would be on the defensive.
Right.
Especially after UP State Assembly elections,
right.
Which was a disaster for the Congress. Now, on 19th of January, that situation has come to an end.
Right.
He is now in the front line. No escape, no alibis.
No excuses.
No defenses. Hence, this is first and very important change from Jaipur to whenever the Lok Sabha elections are held.
Right.
But much before that, very important 9 state assembly elections are going to be held.
Right, this year.
And they cannot be wished away because already the situation is Congress has vacated a lot of space from a large number of states.
Right.
And having vacated that space, if it is again compelled to withdraw and vacate or get pushed out, that will lie very, very hard on the shoulders of any leaders, including Rahul, when the Lok Sabha elections come.
Right.
So my first impression is now is the time for test. Now the mystification is over.
Right.
And now this is realistic role which he would be expected to play. So his speech on 19th and 20th, that is all an inaugural humility, acceptability of the high office, and having come from a very decent middle class background, Rajiv Gandhi also made such speeches and statements, because the background speaks when you speak. But such speeches are neither here nor there. They convey nothing. Nothing. Real issue is, which he has himself identified, organization of the Congress Party.
Right. We will come to the organization question. We will come back to that. Mohan, one thing Professor Bhambhri said was about the fact that these speeches don't mean anything in the long run. But the fact is that, do you think that it has energized the party cadre at least? His elevation and his speech and his presence, do you think that has re-energized the party cadre at least?
I don't know. I don't know any Congress party cadre, but on the face of it, it seems that there's a lot of enthusiasm among the 300 people who went to Jaipur and the 200 people who hang around in the Congress party in Delhi. So, we can never say these things. But, certainly he cuts a new figure. It's an interesting figure. It's not that he's a newcomer to politics.
It's not. He's been around for 9 years.
Terms. He's certainly got more experience than Rajiv Gandhi has in public ever had. Right. And so, and he has, what I'd like to see him articulate his views on the various political and economic issues which grapple the country. This first speech was okay. It's the kind of speech you make, when you're accepting the standard of the party. No, I'm not saying he's become number one. All I'm saying today is that he has become the standard bearer of the party for the next election.
Standard bearer of the party. I mean, he was, Professor Mukherjee, he was, as Professor Bhambhri was pointing out, so far he was protected. There were always alibis, Now no more alibis. He has to be there up front. 9 states are going to go for elections. He will have no other choice but to lead the party in all the state elections. Forget the Lok Sabha election which comes now. Do you think he's prepared for that? Did you feel after hearing, seeing what was said and done there, you think he's prepared for that?
Yeah, you see, I don't agree that speeches are neither here nor there. I think speeches are extremely important.
Okay.
And what he said in the speech, each item if you look at, it should be analyzed. The fact that saying Hindustan is my DNA,
yes.
This emphasis on secularism, Jaat par nahi paat par, this caste and religion are not the issues.
Right.
Is a very, very important point he's making.
Yes.
Second thing, he's talking of governance.
Right.
The promotion of mediocrity, which everybody is saying is a big problem.
The biggest applause he got was when he spoke about the problem. He said there are no rules in the Congress
party. Absolutely. So he's also hit, and every economist, including Guruswamy is talking, saying that the critical issue is governance today.
Absolutely.
It's not, everything in the economy is pretty good, except the governance part, right? So he's hit on that. Take the issue of the pro-poor aspect of the Congress. He's hit that nail correctly on the head. He's not highlighting, he's not saying shining India. He's talking about all the steps that were taken from Manrega to RTI to right to education, etc. as the pointers in the future. So that is pretty good. And most important, he's talking of the youth coming into politics and they're coming from the grassroots, that is, and not being dropped from the top. Which is, in other words, he's linking back to what was the Indian National Congress when it was a fighting unit during the national movement.
Right.
When it was youth, young people, and by young I mean really young.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at the age group of people who went into the Quit India movement, a lot of them were school students, 13, 14, 15.
Yes.
So, so if you can, and there is this youth waiting, we can, and that is for sure, everybody can see it, but we as teachers see it every day.
Yeah,
the youth is wanting the possibility of participating in meaningful politics. So a speech which focuses on that and is able to attract some youth at least. I mean, I know for sure that there are now young people coming into politics. Like I just now saw on television one of our own students, Tamar,
Okay.
Ashok Tamar, Dalit,
Yes.
MP. No
background at all.
No patronage from the top.
No background.
Meenakshi Natarajan, no background from the top. People who've come right from the grassroots. And these are all Rahul Gandhi's people, in the sense who've been promoted. Now, if this can become a trend, I think that much of what he's saying in his speeches, there is some potential there, if this can become a trend.
Okay. Venkatesh, Venkatesh, you were there for 3 days. You witnessed all those things firsthand. What was the feeling you got? What were the kind of responses he was getting from what Professor Mukherjee is talking about? Do you agree with that? Did you see that on the ground happening there?
Certainly, this has impacted the Congress party in a positive manner. I mean, the response from the top leadership, the middle leadership who has been hanging around, as Mohan said, in Jaipur, and as well as, the kind of feedback that I get from various places in India,
right.
to the kind of Congress rank and file to whom I kind of keep in touch on a regular basis.
Right.
There is no denying that Rahul Gandhi's emotional speech has galvanized the party as nothing has done in the last couple of years. But having said that, I don't think that there is anything fundamentally new that Rahul Gandhi has said. Of course, he has tried to address the issues of the youth. He has tried to say that the Congress party does not know what it actually stands for. But I have covered the Pachmadi Chintan Shivir as well,
yes,
in 1998.
Right.
And I'll just quote from one of the documents there, the political document. It says, and I quote, "The blurring of the ideology of the party in critical areas like democracy, socialism and non-alignment has caused confusion not only among the electorate, but even within the ranks of the party as to what exactly the party stands for." And when it goes on to say, there is a disproportionate priority to wealth and social status that has been given in the party, and this has shown a tendency to affiliate and identify itself with particular social groupings. And then the document says, such temptations must be resisted. So when Rahul Gandhi says, I don't know how this party functions, there is no Kanun name in this party, this is only a reflection of what has been stated in Pachmadi as well. So fundamentally, there is an admission that the party has not been able to really take forward the transformationist, reformist agenda that was prescribed at Pachmadi and later at Shimla, organizationally.
Okay. Professor Bhambhri, Pachmadi was different, Shimla was different. Pachmadi, the party was still talking about a single party rule. They had not accepted the fact that, they had not accepted the coalition era. Shimla was a complete departure from Pachmadi. They accepted the coalition there for the first time, and then they moved ahead. But these other problems which you're talking about, it's very interesting in the Jaipur declaration which they have come out with. One of the points which they have made is about nepotism in the party. This is something which Rahul Gandhi has always been talking about, but it's a huge irony that he talks of nepotism. But the fact is that he talks of it. How does all these things gel?
See, that's precisely my problem. Rajiv also talked about it. In 1985, it was a kind of bomb which he threw on the octogenarian leaders. That what is happening is a rotten organization where money doesn't reach.
He spoke of power brokers.
And everything he said. Now, if from father to son, party has not been cleansed, and as Venkat was saying, I would have quoted myself, Panchmari is the beginning of Sonia Gandhi's ascendancy.
Right.
And it's full 15 years now, neither party has been cleansed, nor a sharp, clear ideological perspective has been projected by the Congress to the voters and to its own cadre. It's a centrist party, and as a centrist party, it is talking about growth with social justice. All centrist parties talk about growth and social justice. Only one thing which is very special about Jaipur session is, which is also a continuation of previous years, that they have sharply identified and rightly identified Hindu terrorism. That is, this clarifies their position vis-a-vis Hindu fundamentalism.
And you think that was the right thing to do?
And sorry, because when Sonia Gandhi said, while participating in an election against Narendra Modi, Maut Ka Saudagar,
Yes.
the murderers, Congress organizational leadership claimed to be seniors, calmed her down.
Yes. They panicked. Not just calmed her
They
down, they panicked.
withdrew, and they brought Shankar Singh Waghela,
Right.
of all the persons, who was RSS person. So my problem with the Congress is, this is for the first time again they have repeated, will they stick to it?
Absolutely. Will they stick to it? We will discuss that. There are other issues also which have come out of that Jaipur session. We need to go into a short break now. We'll come back very soon. Please keep watching. Welcome back. We are discussing the 3-day session of the Congress party in Jaipur and analyzing it and asking the question, has the Congress got it right during that session? Professor Mukherjee, Professor Bhambhri raised a very important, see the Jaipur declaration, one of the declaration, the political challenger in the political challenges, it talks about Indian National Congress unequivocally recommits itself to representing India's middle ground, speaking for the vast majority of the people of India and fighting against fringe elements that foster divisive and destructive ideologies. They have put it down in paper. In fact, if you see what was said in Shimla or in Panchmati, they have been talking about this, but have they been able to stick to it? Like Professor Bhambhri says that will they stick to it? In the last few years, just now, Gujarat election took place, and we saw the kind of responses of the Congress party.
Sure. No, it is. I'm an optimist. And when a statement is made, I think we have to give it credence. It has a value.
Right.
The fact that certain kinds of things were said in Panchmati, that Rajiv Gandhi said certain kinds of things, is what enabled the left of center sections in the Congress to push through RTI. After all, there's a lot of fight on it. On Manrega, there was a. In fact, the government thought that it was just not possible.
Absolutely.
Now, how was the party able to push it through? It was able to push it through because for 10 or 15 years they've been arguing that kind of thing. The fact that if Rahul Gandhi today says that the Congress should not allow outsiders to come into their party, obviously the reference, I hope the reference is to people like Waghela, that you don't fight the BJP with BJP, fight with stick to your own values, etc. Now that is the construction I would like to give to this, and if that is the case, I think the effort must be to build on a correct appreciation of the situation.
Okay.
On economy again, on Panchayati Raj.
Exactly.
These are very important things. The teeth will have to be given to them. The fact that he makes the statement that reform is necessary, but it is the first step towards redistributive justice.
He says, badlav zarurat hai, the change is necessary, but it has to be soch samajh ke karna hai, and you have to take everybody along. That inclusive, the talking of the inclusive
I think
growth.
that is the central part of, and that is the continuity of the Congress.
Right.
That it is not going to be an identity politics based thing. It is going to be inclusive. It is not going to be pushed through. And it has to, this is Nehru, quintessential Nehru, that socialism must be socialism of 90%. We have to bring everybody along with us.
Right. Mohan, the question is, one of the issues which we have to think of is the party-government relationship. How will this party-government do you think it will change? Do you think he will be able to influence? Because when you talk of party-government relationship, a lot of it is about economics, about the way the government will, in the next 1 year, be able to push some of the economic issues, and how inclusively they will be able to do that. You see some hope there with Rahul Gandhi coming in the forefront?
Well, the writing is very clear on the wall. The numbers are very clear to read. You open the books, the numbers are there. The fact that the Congress party dealt with the diesel issue before the shiver itself shows that there's realization that some of those things have to be dealt with. You can't postpone it away. The numbers have become too huge.
Right.
You can't have a subsidy of 1 lakh crores and say that I'll attend to it 5 years from now, because it'll balloon to 5 lakh crores by then. So I think that realization is there. So they are dealing with that. So the party would like everybody to get diesel at 25 rupees a litre, if you ask the rank and file. But it's not possible. So I think to tailor what is best for the party.
So biting the bullet has to be done and has been done.
Biting the bullet has been done. I think they've begun to bite the bullet. And I think that's a good thing. And I think, you know, the advantage of having a person like Rahul Gandhi, who understands the modern system a little more better because of background, education and exposure, etc., is that, you know, this uncontrolled populism, which other politicians tend to indulge in, you know.
That is that
is
should
a
be
danger.
I mean, don't you think?
So I think from that perspective, he will be able to blend a lot of practicality. Now the thing is that he needs to enthuse young people and his party workers that he's a man who's capable of delivering the goods. He's a man with a vision, and these are things we are looking. That he's a good man, a sincere young man. I don't think there's any doubt about it anywhere. Even the worst critics will say, Sharif Admi, you know, that one must give it to him. So
that he has that initial advantage.
That initial advantage is there. You know, he's not, you know,
his image.
He's not a street fighting thug from Bombay or something of sort. No, he comes from a good, genteel background, and people trust him. I think you got to build an image around that, you know, and a message.
Venkitesh, you know, populism versus practicality. You think that is something which Rahul Gandhi will have to grapple with in the coming days? Because somewhere I read that there was a lot of criticism to some of the policies of the government, which was talking about, you know, cutting on subsidies and things like that.
Certainly, I think that is the understanding with which Congress has gone into this conclave. Because if you look at Rahul Gandhi's own public appearances and initiatives in the last 5-6 months, it has been kind of low-key.
Right.
Even in Gujarat, he did not really campaign that aggressively as he campaigned in Uttar Pradesh or Bihar.
Right.
But then overall, in terms of economic policy, I think there is an understanding in the Congress that it has to push through these reforms and ensure the kind of growth that it targets, so that it can also advance its populist programs,
social welfare
like
social sector schemes,
social welfare programs like direct cash transfer.
Right.
That understanding, I think that the conviction is there that, you know, unless we bite this bullet and get this economic indices get it to rise, unless we do that, we will not be able to, you know, push forward the populist, the social welfare programs that we have.
Venkitesh, you think there was consensus on this, or was there division? Is there a division which needs to be still tackled?
Congress, the divisions is always tokenism. See, in fact, in 1998, Vailar Ravi made a huge speech, impassioned speech at Pachmadi, supported by Rajesh Pilot, saying that, you know, that public sector is our core strength.
Absolutely.
We should, socialism is our basic ideology. We should not dilute it.
Right.
This time also, Vailar Ravi and Ramesh Chinitala talked about keeping on with the subsidies. But I think it's essentially tokenism. The overall direction has been decided, and it is with that direction that the party went to the Chindan Shivir.
Okay. So overall, do you agree with him that the overall direction has been decided and it is clear? Does it look very clear for you?
One intervention in this whole discussion, two things are being missed. One, this year, as an election year, in the history of elections, nothing dramatic is done by any ruling party. It's more of a continuation,
but the
fact little marginal things, so that the voter gets some concession. And where at Jaipur it was said, inflation is our concern.
Absolutely.
Because history of
the Prime Minister said inflation is the only problem. Otherwise, we have dealt with the economy.
And second thing which should not be forgotten is that just about a year, which has elbow room for everything, it is Sonia Gandhi. And media is only focusing on Rahul, forgetting that Sonia Gandhi's speech where said economic reforms and 1 crore jobs. So it is she who has put her seal of approval on the continuity of these policies Otherwise, it will be very embarrassing for our Prime Minister Mohan Singh to change the track because Rahul says something.
Yes, Mohan, you wanted to intervene on this.
I think, you know, the jobs thing is very critical because most of the jobs
They talk of creating
one crore is what you need. You're producing 12 million people into the workforce. You need to create a crore of jobs, you know. And most of the jobs are coming from
service sector.
No, it is coming from the unorganized sector and from the unregulated sector. And so the organized sector is not growing.
Right.
I think they'll have to do something on industrial policy and things like that. And I think that, you know, this is where some enlightenment and worldly wisdom comes into play. The other thing is that, you know, Congress hasn't got a bad message. You know, they've been battered around over corruption and a lot of that unwarranted speculation on, you know, opportunity costs and foregone costs, you know, which is unwarranted stuff, you know. But I think they've got, you know, they've given right to information, they've given Narega. And I think this direct cash transfer could be a game changer if it's implemented well, you know, and they offer it to people.
Food security.
And food security. These are all good things. And they don't cost so much, you know, as you know, free LPG costs or, you know, or 400 rupees subsidy on a cylinder of LPG costs, you know. I think a lot of these things can be handled with a lot of good economic good sense. Yeah.
Okay.
That is right.
Yeah, last words to you, Professor Mukherjee. We are all discussing Rahul Gandhi has emerged and things like that, but Sonia Gandhi will still be critical to this party.
She will be critical, and I don't think that when the Congress party says this and the other one is tokenism and the other is true. But the fact is both are true. And this was the nature of the Congress party from its inception. It had its EMS Namudripats and Surjits as well as it had its Vallabhbhai Patels, you know. And even now, it is true that on the one hand there is a very secular, very sturdy socialist section, and there is also the other side.
Right.
The issue is what balance gets struck. As Amartya Sen's famous statement is that fiscal prudence, as well as using the budget to reach out to the poor, both are good objectives.
Yes.
How do you balance them? You know?
Okay. How do you balance them? In fact, that is going to be the major challenge for the young man Rahul Gandhi, because Congress, as my panelists here say, have said, is a party which is an umbrella party, and, you know, keeping all the interests in balance and, you know, keeping all their interests in mind is going to be the biggest challenge which Rahul Gandhi will have to face, and also with the help of his mother Sonia, of course. Thanks to all my guests, Professor Bhambhri, Mohan Guruswamy, Professor Aditya Mukherjee and Venkitesh Ramakrishnan. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on The Big Picture, same time tomorrow.